ping, another notification. You feel that little flutter in your stomach, that anticipation. Could it be like a comment, a message? And when you pick up your phone and see it's just spam, something inside you deflates a bit. If you relate to this situation, you need to watch this video until the end, because what I'm about to reveal could completely change your relationship with social media, and even more importantly, your relationship with yourself. We live in 2025, and our generation is facing a silent epidemic that no one wants to admit. It's not about drugs, it's not about alcohol, it's about something much more subtle, much more dangerous, because it's literally in the palm of our hand 24 hours a day. I'm talking about addiction to digital validation, and before you think, oh, that's not me, let me ask you some questions that will make you deeply reflect on your own behaviors. How many times today have you checked your social media? No, seriously, stop and think. How many times have you opened Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or any other platform? And now the most important question. When you posted that photo yesterday, how many times did you go back to see how many likes it had received? Once? 5 times, 10 times? Or did you lose count because you simply couldn't stop checking? Neuroscience has already proven that every like, every comment, every share releases dopamine in our brain. The same dopamine released when we use drugs, eat chocolate, or have sex. This means your brain is literally addicted to digital approval. And the scariest part, tech companies know this. They hire the best neuroscientists and behavioral psychologists in the world to create algorithms that keep you glued to the screen, always seeking another hit of that validation. But here's the real problem, and why you need to pay attention. This constant need for external validation is destroying your self-esteem from the inside out. When you depend on others to feel good about yourself, you hand over control of your happiness to people who don't even truly know you. You become a slave to others' opinions, and that is devastating for your mental health. Let me tell you a true story that happened to me a few years ago. I had a patient, let's call her Marina. Marina was a 23-year-old woman, marketing graduate, smart, beautiful, with everything to be happy. But Marina came to my office in tears because she had posted a photo on Instagram that received only 50 likes. 50. For many people that would be a reason to celebrate. But for Marina it meant she wasn't interesting enough, not pretty enough, not relevant enough. Marina told me she checked Instagram more than 200 times a day. 200 times. She would wake up in the middle of the night just to see if she had received new interactions. Her mood completely depended on how her posts performed. When a post did well, she felt on top of the world. When it didn't, she fell into deep depression. She had created a false version of herself on social media, a version that needed to be constantly fed with external validation to keep existing. And do you know what was the most tragic part of all? Marina was an amazing person in real life. She was funny, smart, caring with friends, dedicated at work. But she couldn't see that because she was completely disconnected from herself. She had outsourced her self-esteem to algorithms and strangers on the internet. Now maybe you're thinking, but I'm not like that. I'm not so dependent on social media. And I want you to do an exercise with me right now. Grab your phone, go to settings, and see how much time you spent on social media yesterday. Go ahead, I'll wait. Don't be ashamed, we all do it. See, how many hours was it? 2? 3? 4? And now tell me, could you go a whole day without checking your social media? A whole day? 24 hours without seeing if someone liked your photo, without seeing what others are doing, without posting anything? If the answer is no, or if you felt that little flutter in your stomach just thinking about it, you're already more dependent than you'd like to admit. But what really worries me isn't the time we spend on social media, it's how this is changing our perception of reality. We are living two lives, the real life and the digital life. And often, the digital life becomes more important than the real one. How many times have you missed out on a special moment because you were worried about recording everything to post? How many times have you felt sad because your real life didn't seem as interesting as the life you see on other people's profiles? Here's a truth people don't want to hear. 90% of what you see on social media is staged. That person who seems to have the perfect life, who is always traveling, always happy, always with the perfect relationship, they're only showing 5% of their life. The other 95%, the fights, insecurities, fears, financial difficulties, family problems, are hidden behind the digital smokescreen. And when you compare your real life with the edited life of others, you will always lose. It's like comparing the making of a movie with the finished film. You see all the mess, all the mistakes, all the difficulties of your life, while others only show the final product, edited, filtered. But what caught my attention most during years of therapy and research was discovering that this relentless search for digital validation is creating a generation of people completely disconnected from themselves. They know how to get likes, how to create viral content, how to project a perfect image, but they don't know who they really are when they're alone, in silence, without an audience, without filters, and that's terrifying because it means we're losing our authentic identity. We're becoming characters in our own lives, constantly performing for an audience that doesn't even truly know us, and when you live performing, you forget who you really are beneath the mask. Back to Marina's story, after 6 months of therapy, she made a radical decision. She deleted all her social media. She didn't take a break. She didn't log out temporarily. She deleted everything. And do you know what happened? In the first few weeks, she went through a terrible anxiety crisis. She felt invisible, non-existent, as if she was no longer a real person because she no longer had a digital presence. But after a month, something incredible started to happen. Marina began to rediscover herself. She started paying attention to things she had forgotten years ago: the taste of food, the smell of flowers, deep conversations with friends, the feeling of being present in a moment, without needing to record everything. She began to value herself not by what she posted, but by what she truly lived. And Marina told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, I spent years building a fake version of myself for people who don't even know me, and completely ignored the real person I always was. I was so busy being who I thought others wanted me to be that I completely forgot to be myself." That made me realize that addiction to digital validation isn't just about likes and comments. It's about something much deeper. It's about losing our authentic identity. It's about outsourcing our self-esteem. It's about living other people's lives instead of living our own. And neuroscience confirms this. Recent studies show that people who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media have cortisol levels, the stress hormone, 20. They also show symptoms of depression and anxiety at rates 40% higher. And the most striking, they have a distorted perception of their own reality, always comparing themselves to unrealistic and unattainable standards. But here's what no one tells you. You have the power to break this cycle. You can reclaim your authentic identity. You can stop living for others and start living for yourself. But that requires courage, because it means giving up the easy and immediate validation of social media to build true self-esteem based on who you really are. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but I need social media for work, to connect with people, to stay informed. And I'm not telling you to delete everything and isolate yourself from the world. I'm telling you to change your relationship with these platforms. Instead of being a slave to them, you can learn to use them as tools without letting them control your emotional life. And here's where the words awakened mind make sense. An awakened mind is one that doesn't passively accept external stimuli. It's a mind that questions, that observes, that consciously chooses how to react. If you want to have an awakened mind, you need to start observing your own digital behaviors without judgment, but with awareness. Pay attention when you pick up your phone. What are you feeling? Anxiety? Boredom? Loneliness? When you post something, what emotion are you seeking? Approval? Validation? Recognition? An awakened mind doesn't judge these feelings, but recognizes them and understands there's a difference between feeling something and acting compulsively because of that feeling. Let me tell you about another patient. Let's call him Carlos. Carlos was a 35-year-old businessman who discovered he checked his phone more than 300 times a day. 300 times? He couldn't have a 10-minute conversation without looking at his phone. He couldn't watch a movie, read a book, or even take a shower without feeling the compulsion to check notifications. Carlos came to me because he was losing important contracts at work. He was late to meetings because he got lost in social media. He couldn't focus on projects because he was always distracted by his phone. His productivity had dropped 70% in 1 year. And worst of all, he was losing connection with his family. His wife complained that he paid more attention to his phone than to her. His children had stopped trying to talk to him because he was always busy with something on the phone. But Carlos wasn't a bad or irresponsible person. He was simply addicted to digital distraction. His brain had been hijacked by algorithms designed to capture and hold his attention. He had lost the ability to be present, to concentrate, to enjoy simple moments in life. The work with Carlos was different. Instead of asking him to delete social media, I taught him to develop digital awareness. He learned to identify the triggers that made him compulsively pick up his phone. He learned to create conscious pauses between feeling the compulsion and acting. He learned to set healthy boundaries with technology, and the results were transformative. In 3 months, Carlos had reduced his phone use by 6. He started having deep conversations with his family again. He regained focus at work. He started reading books again. He began to appreciate simple moments like a peaceful breakfast or a beautiful sunset. He told me, "Doctor, I had forgotten how good it was to be present in my own life." And this made me understand something fundamental. The problem is not the technology itself, but our unconscious relationship with it. When you use social media consciously, with purpose, setting clear boundaries, they can be powerful tools. But when you use them compulsively, seeking external validation, they become digital prisons that keep you disconnected from your own life. Now, I want to teach you a technique that has changed the lives of hundreds of patients. It's called the digital mindful pause. It works like this. Whenever you feel the compulsion to pick up your phone, stop for 30 seconds. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What am I looking for by picking up the phone? Will this really satisfy this need? Most of the time, you will realize that you are looking for something on your phone that it cannot give you. Real connection, purpose, lasting satisfaction. You are using an external tool to try to fill an internal void. And that never works because the internal void can only be filled from the inside out, through self-knowledge, self-acceptance, and authentic connections. But here is what I really want you to understand. You are not weak or addicted by nature. You are a normal human being reacting normally to stimuli that have been scientifically designed to create dependence. The biggest tech companies in the world invest billions of dollars and hire the best brains on the planet to make their platforms irresistible. You are fighting algorithms that know you better than you know yourself. These algorithms know exactly what kind of content will make you stay longer on the platform. They know the times when you are most emotionally vulnerable. They know what types of notifications will make you pick up your phone immediately. They are designed to create what experts call unconscious persuasion, making you do things without realizing you are being manipulated. And the scariest part is that these algorithms don't care about your well-being. They don't care if you are depressed, anxious, or have lost contact with your family. They only care about one thing: keeping you engaged, clicking, scrolling, interact. The more time you spend on the platform, the more money they make from advertising. You are not the customer of these companies, you are the product. But here is a liberating truth. When you understand how the system works, you can start making conscious choices. You can decide when and how to use these platforms, instead of letting them decide for you. You can regain your digital autonomy, and more importantly, your emotional autonomy. Let me give you a practical example. Have you ever noticed that social media never says, "You've scrolled enough for today"? They are designed to be infinite, to never end. There is always more content, always one more thing to see. This creates an artificial sense of urgency, as if you are always missing something important. But the truth is, you are not missing anything. 99% of the content you consume on social media is irrelevant to your real life. It doesn't improve your relationships, doesn't help you grow professionally, doesn't make you a happier or more fulfilled person. It's just distraction disguised as information. And here is a question that will make you think. When was the last time you spent an entire day without consuming digital content, without watching videos, without reading posts, without seeing stories? When was the last time you stayed silent, alone with your own thoughts without any external stimulus? If you can't remember, that's a sign that you might be addicted to constant stimulation. Your brain got used to receiving information all the time and lost the ability to be at peace inside. This is dangerous because it is in silence that we have our best reflections, make our most important decisions, and connect with our intuition and inner wisdom. One of the most transformative things you can do is create moments of digital silence in your life. Start small, 30 minutes without any screen, without any external stimulus, just you, your thoughts, and the present moment. At first it may be uncomfortable, even distressing. Your brain will ask for distraction, will want to escape the silence, but it is exactly this resistance that shows how dependent you are on external stimuli. It's like a smoker who feels withdrawal when quitting smoking. The discomfort is temporary, but the benefits are permanent. When you reconnect with silence, you reconnect with yourself. And here is something that will surprise you. Some of the most successful and happiest people in the world have something in common. They fiercely protect their attention. They don't allow any digital content into their minds without a filter. They are extremely selective about what they consume because they know that what you consume consumes you. Think about it. If you eat junk food every day, your body gets sick. If you consume junk information every day, your mind gets sick. And most of the content on social media is junk information, empty, sensationalist information, designed to generate instant emotional reactions, not to add real value to your life. But I don't want you to just understand this intellectually. I want you to feel it deep. So I'm going to propose a challenge that can change your life. For the next 7 days, every time you go to pick up your phone, stop and ask, will this bring me closer to who I really want to be? Will this add real value to my life? If the answer is no, don't pick up the phone. Go do something else. Talk to someone face to face. Read a book. Take a walk. Observe nature. Anything that connects you with real life, not digital life. And here is what will happen. In the first days, you will feel uncomfortable, even anxious. Your brain will resist because it is used to the constant dose of dopamine from social media. But if you persist, you will start rediscovering simple pleasures you had forgotten. You will start feeling more present, more connected with yourself and the people around you. Let me tell you about one last patient. Let's call her Sophia. Sophia was a 28-year-old woman who suffered from severe anxiety. She came to me because she was having constant panic attacks and couldn't sleep. During therapy, we discovered that she spent more than 8 hours a day on social media. 8 hours, more than half of her waking hours. Sophia didn't realize the connection between excessive social media use and her anxiety. For her, social media was a way to distract herself from anxiety, not the cause of it. But when we started analyzing her patterns, we found she was in a vicious cycle. She felt anxious, so she picked up her phone to distract herself. But the content she consumed made her even more anxious. Social media was bombarding her brain with negative information, constant comparisons, and an artificial sense of urgency. She was always in the know about everything happening in the world, but this was overwhelming her nervous system. She couldn't process so much information, so much emotion, so much stimulation. The work with Sophia was gradual. First, she set specific times to use social media. Then she created a digital hygiene ritual before sleeping, 2 hours without screen. Then she started unfollowing accounts that made her anxious or promoted toxic comparisons. The results were impressive. In 2 months, Sophia's panic attacks decreased by 80%. She started sleeping well again. She regained focus at work. She had energy to invest in real relationships again. She told me, "Doctor, I didn't know I was living in a constant sensory overload. Now I understand the difference between being informed and being overwhelmed. And this made me realize something fundamental. Many people who think they have anxiety or depression actually have digital overload. They are consuming more information and stimuli than their brain can process healthily. When they reduce this overload, many symptoms naturally disappear." We've reached the end of this video, but actually, this is just the beginning of your journey of reconnection with your authentic identity. Everything I shared here are tools, insights, and strategies you can start applying today. But remember, knowledge without action is just intellectual entertainment. You have a choice to make now. You can keep living on autopilot, letting algorithms and strangers' opinions determine your mood, self-esteem, and perception of reality. Or you can decide to take back control of your digital life, and consequently, your real life. Remember, you are not what you post. You are not how many likes you get. You are not your digital persona. You are a complex, unique, valuable human being, regardless of any external validation. Your real life is more important than your digital life. Your face-to-face relationships are more important than your virtual followers. Your inner peace is more important than your online popularity. If this video impacted you, if you recognized some behaviors in yourself, leave a comment telling me what was the most important insight for you. And if you want more content about psychology, personal development, and mental health, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your journey of self-knowledge and reconnection with your authentic identity starts now. I believe in you. See you in the next video.